A message from McAfee. Wondering why the post office is texting you or why you owe thousands of dollars in toll fees? Because someone's trying to scam you. The good news? McAfee can help. With McAfee's award-winning scam detection, it's easy to tell what's real and what's fake over text, in your inbox, and online. If they're
You want a free gift?
Seriously? If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. In today's episode, so I wanted to talk on a couple of things. I wanted to talk on the Michael trailer, the movie about Michael Jackson. And then I also wanted to talk on this Impersonator where he uploaded his reaction and he seemed like he was, I don't know, like annoyed or kind of upset. And the thing is this, you know, I guess, sorry, because I want to talk on that part last. I don't want to start it off, you know, because I'm like, I want to build up, you know, I want to make sure I say everything that I need to say and say it right and stuff. So, but anyways, so yeah, if you guys remember a couple of years back, they announced that they were coming out with a Michael Jackson movie. I had been paying attention to this for a minute because I remember when I had watched it was the Jackson 5 movie, and I was like, bro, this movie is pretty good. I'm like, nah, man, it don't get no better than this. But that was kind of like a while back. Like, I think that movie had came out back in the 90s, I believe. So I was like, yeah, that movie is kind of old. And then they came out with that one Michael Jackson movie where you know, and the thing is this. I get at the end of the day, it's like they wanted to come out with a Michael Jackson movie, but I just felt like that it just wasn't the right time to do a Michael Jackson movie. But dang, I can't even think of the name of the guy that played him, but I think that movie came out in I think it might have been like 2003 or something. Michael Jackson movie 2003. Was it that one, or was it, I don't know if it was that, or if it was, I don't think that was it, like that, because they're talking on the documentary and stuff. Dang, what was the one of that, was it this? No, it wasn't that, because I'm trying to look for it. Maybe it was 2004, hold on for a second. What just happened? I was like, I looked up, I started typing up, and then it was like something else. I typed up 2004, and it was words that popped up. I'm like, what is going on? This was it. All right, so it was this movie. So there was like Man in the Mirror, the Michael Jackson story. This didn't play in theaters. Yeah, this was a VH1 movie. Okay, it makes sense now, because I'm like, there is no way possible people paid money to go see this movie in theaters. I refuse to believe. But anyways, they had it where it was this actor named Flex Alexander. And the thing is this, you know, it's like, it's no disrespect to him. It's no disrespect to the people behind that movie that did it. But I just felt like that couldn't have been like a movie. I don't even think, was Michael Jackson even behind that movie? I don't even think he had nothing to do with that movie. That's kind of like that one they had did a whatchamacallit, a Mike Tyson TV show on Hulu, but they didn't consult with Mike Tyson. They just came out with it, and I'm like, fam, you guys can't do that with like biopics and stuff. Like, yeah, if you gonna have like maybe an actor pretending, so like let's say for an example, they come out with a fictional movie, but there's a character in there that's supposed to be acting like Michael Jackson. That's okay. That's 100% fine, because we know that movie is fictional. We know there ain't no truth, or quote unquote truth is being told. But when you come out with a movie, and it wasn't like Michael Jackson didn't pass until 5 years later, you know, so that's why I'm like, fam, this man was alive. You could have very well consulted with him, but let's just see if he did, like, maybe, I don't know, but they was like, so they say reception. The film originally aired on August 6, 2004, receiving a TV rating of TV PG for language. The telefilm went on to receive generally negative reviews from both fans and critics alike, as the film presented Michael Jackson in a very unflattering manner and did not represent most of the true story, alongside criticizing the dialogue. Unlike the Jacksons, An American Dream, that movie, that was that Jackson 5 movie. None of the Jackson songs are heard, only mentioned in the so how are you going that's crazy. That's honestly insane, because I remember one night watching like bits and pieces of that movie, and I'm like, fam, how are you going to do a movie? And you know what? I think that's how it had to have been copyrights. And they was like, and yeah, that's how you know that they didn't consult with Michael Jackson. Because if you didn't even play his music, you're going to make a movie about a man where he's one of the biggest artists, if not the biggest artist at that time being. How are you not going to have none of his music playing in the movie? So yeah, that's how you know that they didn't consult with him and stuff. They was like, none of Jackson's songs are heard, only mentioned in the telefilm. Additionally, criticism was aimed at Fleck's portrayal of Jackson due to the contrasting appearances. Yeah, because when you look at him, it's like, fam, it didn't even look like he had like that skin condition that Michael Jackson had. It just looked like in one, I think this might be a scene. It's like, one, it looks like that, I don't know, they might have like spray painted his face a little bit to maybe make him darker. And then they show this other one where it looks like they dipped his head in powder or something. Like, I was like, I remember watching that movie when I was a kid, and I was like, fam, that ain't it. I don't know. My thing is, and at the time being as a kid, because I ain't really know too much about Michael Jackson. I feel like I should give you guys a little bit of a history, tell you guys the truth about my history with Michael Jackson. I didn't really know him like that. You know, like, I knew of his music. I knew that he was a big artist because actually, no, I remember I got this 2005 Guinness World Record book, and that's how I knew that his album Thriller, and still one of the biggest albums till this day, that's how I knew that was one of the greatest selling albums, because of that Guinness World Record book. So I had some information about Michael Jackson. And then, of course, like, you know, everybody cracking jokes and making, memes wasn't really a thing, but they were cracking jokes about him. Like, anytime it was a music video, movie, they were gonna make fun of Michael Jackson. All right, you know, kids at school making fun of Michael Jackson. Then all of a sudden, tragic day in 2009. So I'm at home chilling, because it was summertime and stuff. So anyways, I'm at my house chilling, watching the Wayans brothers. I get a call from my mom. She usually calls during the day to check up on me and stuff. But at the time when she called, it was it was later on in the day. It's crazy how I still remember this day, you know, and this happened years ago, bro, like over 10 years ago. But anyways, so I get a call from my mom, and she's all like, hey, Michael Jackson passed away. So at this time, I'm like, I'm not going to say that I wasn't you know what? No, I'll be flat out lying to you guys. I wasn't a fan of Michael Jackson. Not so much as like I hated his music, but just more so like I didn't take no interest in his music at the time being. So yeah, I guess if you want to call me one of those fake fans that became a fan of him after he passed, then yeah, you know, say what you got to say, you know. But that's something that I do think about. I'm like, man, you know, it's messed up that it's like that for some people, you know, and it seems like that they gain this like new, like, not so much as because he was already successful before, but it's like they gain like this wave of fans after they pass. And I'm like, yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I'm like, I think if I could go back in my childhood and because it was like his music, when you listen to his music, I'm like, fam, it's one of those things where it's like and that was the thing that I never understood about myself. I would go and listen to clean rap music, but meanwhile, Michael Jackson was putting on whole movies for his music. Like, that's the part that just tripped me out. Like, I was familiar with his videos and stuff. Like, I was watching his videos a lot when I was a kid, because, no, that's like a traditional thing for Halloween in my household, that we watched the Thriller video for Halloween and stuff. But besides that, like, it was watching You Rock My World, because I'm a big Chris Tucker fan. So, yeah, I was like, anytime, you know, when I see that video, I'll watch it, because I'm like, no, I like Chris Tucker. You know, I like watching that video and stuff. But other than that, I'm like, I didn't really watch too many of his other videos and stuff. So, but anyways, going back to that particular day, so my mom goes, she calls, she's like, Michael Jackson passed away, and I'm like, oh, okay, I ain't really know his music like that. Like, I was keeping it a buck with her. I'm like, I don't know his music like that, but I'm like, man, that's unfortunate and stuff. So anyways, that conversation ends. So I go downstairs and I tell my dad. My dad didn't believe it, because he was the first person, because I wasn't into the internet and social media and all that stuff. 2009, like, I didn't get into it until a year later. So anyways, dang, it's just crazy to think like that was like a year before I got into the internet when all that stuff had happened and went down. It's just wild to think of that time frame and stuff. But anyways, I told my dad didn't believe me. I looked it up, and then, yeah, sure enough, they were, it was all over the internet and stuff. So, yeah, I was like, I went to, because that's like the one place I go to where it's like, if I need to check and confirm if a person passes, Wikipedia. So I don't think at the time being Wikipedia had changed it, because I think, yeah, it was like still up in the air whether or not if he passed and things. So anyways, but yeah, shortly after, I'm like, Wikipedia changed it, said that he passed away, and then, yeah, I was like, man, that's crazy. And then that whole day, I'm telling you, so like eventually, because I'm trying to think, I think by that night, my whole family was home. We were all glued to the TV, because it was like, you turned to any channel out there. It didn't matter whether it was one of those like TBS, TNT, True TV, Cartoon Networks, Nickelodeon. Everybody was talking about Michael Jackson. And I'm like, man, and then as it was like the night was just going on, that's when it became clear to me. I'm like, fam, if there's anybody that walked the face of this earth as an entertainer and they were larger than life, Michael Jackson. I'm like, that's one thing that I would say about him, is that, yeah, that man was larger than life. Like, he was somebody where it was like, wow, like you. And then, so yeah, at that time being, I was like, yeah, then it was a year later, got into the internet, but I kind of was already, I was just more so like, when I would go onto the internet, it would be like to get cheat codes for video games and crap. So, but anyways, yeah, so at that time, I'm like, but yeah, getting into the internet, and then just doing a little bit more research about him, watching his videos, listening to his music. I'm trying to think, I can't remember if I was still using LimeWire at the time, but yeah, getting his music in a horrible way, a way that, yeah, LimeWire, it was one of those websites, or apps, computer apps, where, yeah, bro, you download more than 5 to 10 songs off of that platform, you definitely getting a virus. All right, so, but no, and then as the time went on, though, it's like listening to his music more, watching his videos more. I'm like, man, like he is good. I'm like, and that's something where I'm like, I know people will probably be all like, he was better than good. Like, you can't say Michael Jackson was good. You gotta, and that's the thing. I'm like, fam, like, I don't know what you want me to say. I'm like, if I'm out here praising this man, I feel like it would be fake, because I'm like, I didn't really know him like that. We still in that time frame. Yeah, now, if I talk about him and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely, there's no other artist in this world that could be compared to Michael Jackson. And that's why I'm like, so when I see them like rage baiting tweets, people talking about, oh, Taylor Swift is a much more better performer than Michael Jackson. I'm like, Michael Jackson who? Because I'm like, we must be talking about it. Like, yeah, one of them impersonators that be pretending to be Michael Jackson in the middle of Las Vegas with a hat in front of them, talking about, oh yeah, tip me if you want to see the moonwalk and things. I'm like, yeah, if you're talking about those Michael Jacksons, then I'm like, okay, then that makes sense. But if we're talking about the Michael Jackson that was a part of the Jackson 5, the Michael Jackson that one the best-selling artist of all time and things. I'm trying to think of some other accolades can we add to Michael Jackson. There is nobody on the face of this earth, dead or alive, that can top Michael Jackson and his music and what his music stands for to this day. The thing is this, you don't see Taylor Swift impersonators walking up and down the street. You don't see, and you know what, it probably will be in a matter of time before they do a documentary talking about, or not documentary, but biopic, showcasing Taylor Swift and her career and all the struggles that she went through, and I ain't gonna take that away from her. But even she has to know herself, she's on that scale, she's on that in that like ballpark. But it's kind of, it's like people saying that it's kind of like if there's a Hall of Fame like music thing going on, you're trying to replace Michael Jackson with Taylor Swift. That's not possible. That's not possible at all. I'm like, I'm sorry, and to any Taylor Swift fans out there that's listening to this, I do apologize. She's never going to be on that same scale as Michael Jackson. It's kind of like people like that's like if I were to say that I'm a better YouTuber than Mr. Beast. Oh, because I put in more work, or because I did like no. That's the thing. People are not going to recognize me as somebody that's better than Mr. Beast. That's not because no, I did see a tweet where she was dancing and somebody was all like, "Oh, she's a better dancer than Michael Jackson," and I'm like, "Are you serious?" And so the thing is this. What she was doing, I guess that's considered dancing. She was just jumping. Like that's it. That's all that she was doing. Michael Jackson fam, like there are people, that's the thing, like when I like pay attention to like the impersonators and then, you know, kind of compare like how they mimic Michael Jackson's dancing to like him actually dancing, it's 100% different. I'm like, that's one thing. I just think that a lot of the impersonators, they try to impersonate the main moves. They're all like, oh, let me do kind of like that shoulder roll thing that he did. Oh, let me moonwalk a little bit. Let me do the main dance, a part of Beat It and stuff. And I'm like, fam, yeah, anybody can do that. You know, I'm like, yeah, if you went and had Michael Jackson the Experience, I'm like, yeah, that was a game that I grew up playing and stuff. Of course, anybody can, if you doing that. But if you're trying to actually dance like Michael Jackson, I don't think there's too many people that can do so. All right. Now, fast forward, they announced that Michael Jackson biopic is coming out, and then that's who they announced that's going to be playing as him is his nephew. I think his name is Jafar Jackson. So I'm like, if there is anybody that is going to play Michael Jackson and do a good job at it, it's going to be his family. And I'm like, fam, and that's the thing. So his nephew, because I did kind of do a little bit of research on his nephew. His nephew was born in 96. So it wasn't like no situation where his nephew was too young to know. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, he had to have meet Michael Jackson. It wasn't like, oh, because he's this famous uncle, I can't meet him. Like, I gotta go through security. I'm like, that's his nephew. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Michael Jackson was involved in his life, you know, some way, somehow and stuff. Gave him advice and all that other stuff. Because I'm pretty sure he probably was all told them guys he wanted to get into music and all of that and things. So yeah, it's like you come from a big old giant family of musicians, and you think that, like, there's the main musician, a part of that whole family. You ain't gonna have no I'm pretty sure he has some conversations with Michael Jackson. All right. So, but that's one thing that, you know, just in all households is that there's always that family member that can impersonate other family members and have it where it's like, and I guess it's more so like in a comedy fashion and things. But I feel like in this case, it's like, okay, we need somebody that can play as Michael Jackson and do good at it. Not on no comedy stuff, but like, wow, like we can't tell the difference. You know, obviously you can, but like, it's one of those things where it's like, whoa, wait a minute, like you did that a little bit too well. You know, it's like, okay, like fam, you're Jafar Jackson, you're not Michael Jackson, but you're playing it like, so I'm like, that's what they're looking for. All right. So anyways, then they come out with this trailer, and I'm like, finally, like, you know, because the day before the trailer had came out, they were talking on like, yeah, they create like a social media account for the movie and all that stuff. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool, you know, so it's probably gonna be sometime soon. They dropped this trailer. Next day come around there, so no, I woke up. It was yesterday when they dropped the trailer, so I woke up, and then that's when I'm starting to see all these different things, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Well, was it yesterday? Anyways, regardless of whenever it was dropped, because by the time you guys hear this podcast episode, it's going to be long after the trailer had dropped. So, but no, I woke up that morning, they're showing all these different screenshots, and I'm like, no, I want to be surprised. I don't want to see a whole lot and things, you know. I'm like, I don't want to see a whole lot, you know. I want to, you know, kind of just see this for myself and things. And so anyways, reacted to the trailer, and no, I'm like, fam, I think his nephew, I think he's going to do a good job playing as him, because that's one thing about it where it's like, I can't think of no other actor that can play as Michael Jackson and actually do good. I know if people were like, if it was a toss-up, now let's say if it was like, if I was into acting and then I see his nephew go walking in and stuff, I'm like, that ain't even fair, man. He's cheating. He got the advantage. He knew Michael Jackson. I'm having to watch all this, you know, these videos and all these different, like, things about Michael Jackson to try to, like, you know, mimic who he is. But I'm like, yeah, if anybody's going to do it good, it's going to be his family. So anyways, and then on top of that, too, it's like, you have connections. It ain't like you gotta like get in contact like through lawyers, or not lawyers, but like, you know, through, I guess, like managers and people. Like, fam, he literally has his family members in his phone. I'm pretty sure he can because yeah, his Jafar Jackson's dad is Jermaine Jackson. So I'm pretty sure, yeah, he get in contact with any of them. I'm like, Janet, Jermaine, well, of course, his own dad, but I'm like, any of those guys, all the Jacksons. I'm like, even if they got like other relatives that wasn't really into the like in the famous scene and stuff, there's even those relatives that they can contact. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I personally think that he's gonna kill this role, like kill it in a way where it's like he's gonna do good and stuff. But anyways, so yeah, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Like, we can't wait for this to come out. All this other stuff, you know. I have seen some criticism, you know, people talking on his nephew's appearance. I'm like, okay, well the thing is this, like, he ain't gonna look like him all the way. Like, you gotta like remember, it's like he ain't Michael Jackson's kid, he's Jermaine Jackson's kid, so he gonna look like Jermaine Jackson. And Jermaine Jackson, yeah, he might slightly look like Michael Jackson, I guess, like in their younger days and stuff. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, these are two, like, yeah, they come from that same bloodline, but they gonna look different and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know why it's like people are expecting him to look exactly like. My thing is this, as long as he can act like him, yeah, he slightly looks like him and he's a Jackson. So it's like, I don't know what you guys like, I guess, what more do you want? Like, I'm guessing they're wanting him to, like, no, you gotta clone Michael Jackson, and you gotta, like, it ain't even no situation where you have to look like him. You have to actually be Michael Jackson. That's not possible. I'm like, the best that he can do is contact the best possible makeup artist and have it where it's like, hey, can you make me look like my uncle? I'm like, that's all that I need. Like, make me look like him from his younger days all the way up to his last few days. Because I think I did read online that this movie is gonna be about when, like, he started off in the Jackson 5, and then when he started his solo career all the way up until his passing. So that's why I'm like, man, you know, and that's the thing. I just remember with that Tupac movie, how the ending to that was sad. What else? And then with the Straight Outta Compton movie, that was sad. The Notorious movie, because those were the movies that I more so watched. Because I think they did say that the people behind this movie, they were also behind the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, the movie about Queen. And so, and I think I remember people were saying that was that movie was good too. I never did get a chance to see it, but I'm like, probably to kind of get myself, you know, I guess like to kind of get an idea of what this Michael movie is going to be. I'm like, I should watch that movie. But even the whatchamacallit, well, that movie wasn't, the ending wasn't really sad, but just knowing that it was getting to that time where he was getting more sicker and stuff. But the Bob Marley movie, that movie was good. That was a pretty good movie and stuff. But anyways, and that's another thing too, because I'm like, I think that it's best that his nephew is playing as him, talking on Michael Jackson's nephew, Jafar Jackson. I think it's best that it's him playing as him and stuff, because I feel like that if, like, so, like, let's say for an example, they're reading the script and then there's a scene in there where they're all like, oh yeah, so Michael Jackson, there's gonna be a time where you get into an argument with Chris Tucker about music and stuff. I feel like that he would be like, when did this happen? Like, I don't think you guys understand. Like, I'm actually his blood. Like, I'm actually, I might not have been around him 24/7, but I'm like, fam, I ain't never heard of him getting into no argument with no Chris Tucker. Why would that scene even be involved? I think what people want to see, this is just, you know, just kind of getting into, like, if I was Jafar Jackson and stuff, and I'm like this, I'm like, I think what people want to see is a Michael Jackson biopic, meaning that we want to see a recreation of Michael Jackson's career. We ain't trying to see some fictional, or I guess like an alleged argument between him and Chris Tucker. I'm like, let me call up Chris Tucker right now and see, like, if they ever got into an argument, because if not, then I'm like, why would that scene be in the movie? Because yeah, there are some movies, because I think the Tupac movie was like that. They said there was a scene in there where Tupac had read a poem to Jada Pinkett Smith, and she even came out and said that scene never happened. He never read no poem to me. There was even the other scene in that movie where they were arguing in a club or like backstage somewhere, and she said that never happened. So it's like, why would you? That's why I'm like, I just think that another reason why I think that it's good that his nephew is playing as him and stuff. But no, if you guys haven't definitely watched that trailer, because I'm like, nah, I think he embodied the Michael Jackson, you know, just like persona and stuff, you know, or the spirit and things. I don't really know what to call it and stuff. But this was the one thing that I seen earlier today where I was like, you know what? I think that if this guy is actually mad at this trailer or whatever the case may be, I'm going to talk on that in a moment. But anyways, so earlier today, because it's been trending. People have been talking about it and stuff, this Michael Jackson trailer. But there's an impersonator where I think this was the same impersonator where he's walking. It looked like they could have been in Vegas or something like that. But anyways, he's walking down the street. He's walking with this girl, and then he pauses and he stops and he kind of like folds his arms up a little bit, rubbing his chin. He's looking. The camera pans over. It's another Michael Jackson impersonator dancing, and he's standing there watching this Michael Jackson impersonator as if he's the real Michael Jackson. And I'm like, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, bro, snap out of it. Like, you're not him. You never have been him. You never will be him. Your name is Richard. You are not Michael. There's a difference, okay? You wasn't even born the same year. You don't know nothing. You don't have nobody in your family with the last name Jackson, that it comes from the Jackson family, in that side of town and stuff. You are not a Jackson, okay? You're not even a Michael. You're not anything, okay? So it's like you are your own, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I'm just saying it's like people need to understand that it's like, yeah, you can impersonate him, but once when that 9 reaches the 5 and you can clock out, you gotta go back to being yourself. Okay, but you have to understand that 24/7, you are not Michael Jackson. But I think this was the same impersonator. So anyways, he's reacting to the trailer. He's sitting down. He's not saying nothing. He's just kind of observing and stuff, right? Kind of doing like how he was doing to that street performer. Then it gets to the end, and he seemed like that he kind of had like an attitude. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just us that's kind of looking too deep into it and stuff. But I'm like, fam, what are you mad about? But at the same time, it's like, I guess, like, okay, let me put myself in his shoes. Imagine spending a good portion of your adult life, all right? You probably got some cosmetic surgery. You done went out and changed your wardrobe. You done kind of changed up your voice a little bit. Like, you're having to put on this makeup every single day. You're having to do all of these different things to become Michael Jackson. You're going out on streets. You're taking all these different pictures. You honestly think that you are Michael Jackson. It's like, no, you're somebody that looks like Michael Jackson. I went to school with somebody that looked like Michael Jackson. I think everybody of them probably went to school with somebody that looked like Michael Jackson. But guess what, though? That guy, because I remember he dressed up as Michael Jackson for Halloween. But after Halloween, when it was November 1st, he went right back to being, I ain't going to call his name out and stuff. But that guy, no, actually, he's somebody that's... some people may know of him, but I'm like, I don't know. Like, he ain't famous, but like he got more followers than me, But yeah, some people, I guess if there is ever a time where our paths cross and we sit down, we get to reminiscing and all that stuff. Because I wasn't really cool with them like that. He was just somebody that was like, he was kind of like Zach from Saved by the Bell. Like, everybody knew him, but it's like but it wasn't like, no, like, oh, I can like call him up or anything. Well, we are friends on social media, but we ain't like, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, we just seen each other on social media. We agreed to a friendship, but we ain't cool like that. I guess if we see each other, we might give each other a head nod, dap each other up and all that other stuff. But anyways, I ain't really know him like that. But when you look at this guy now, he don't even really look like Michael Jackson. He look more like, because I was thinking that one day, I'm like, fam, how do you go from looking like Michael Jackson we were in high school to looking like a Hispanic Zac Efron? And I'm like, bro, how is it that I'm like, dang, man, I wish I can train like he's a Terminator. I'm like, no, that's what he is. He's that second model, the police model and stuff, where he can transform into people. Because I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, but he hasn't been going on his whole life. But getting back to this impersonator, you do all of this stuff, right, to, I guess, make it seem like that you are Michael Jackson. And then I guess like you're hoping something good would come out of this. Like, oh, if they contact, or if they're doing a movie, they'll contact me and stuff. Why would they contact you when it's his whole nephew? The thing is this, and yeah, I imagine that his nephew had to go in, audition, actually sit down and, like really put in a lot of work to do this movie and stuff. But he went through the troubles of going through with doing this movie or being a part of this movie and things. What have you done besides go viral and now 2 videos? where it's like you're still pretending to be Michael Jackson. Here it is. It's like, yeah, at the end of the day, talking on his nephew, he clocked out of doing this. I don't know if they are still working on the movie, but anyways, but it's like, it got to a point where it's like, okay, now they can, I guess, start focusing on promoting this movie, because I don't know if they've like finalized like recording and all that other stuff. I imagine that they have. That's probably why they're doing the trailer and stuff. But anyways, he went back to being himself, you know, and it's like, yeah, it's gonna probably be kind of hard, because he's all like, dang, I spent like a good couple of years, you know, working on this movie and stuff. But I'm like, but I think that it was the whole reason why is because it's like they wanted to make sure of it, that this movie was good, you know. So, but the thing is this, he went back to being himself. Once when that 9 went to a 5, like when that 9 to 5, when it was over with, he went right back to being Jafar Jackson. Can you say the same thing with yourself? And I feel like that, yeah, probably behind closed doors, that's when this guy is himself. But he feels like, oh, if I'm doing a video, or if I'm doing a collaboration with somebody, or if I'm going out and about down the streets and stuff, I gotta be Mike. No, you're not. You're not nowhere near on that same level as Michael Jackson. Again, you slightly look like him in his later years, but you're not him, bro. Like, and that's one thing that people need to understand, because I'm like, I didn't seen it with Justin Bieber. I didn't seen it with, feel like, Kim Kardashian. Who are some other people where it's like they got like impersonators and stuff. You know, it gets to a point where it's like, fam, you're doing too much. You know, and it's like, you ain't even got to do all that. I guess like with me, it's just, I never really, well, for one, I don't look like nobody to where I could be an impersonator and stuff. But no, it's just, to me, it's like, I feel that life is easier being myself. Like, you know, like, I ain't gotta like get all dressed up and do all these different things. I'm like, nah, fam, like I can leave up out this house just being me, and I'm chill with it. And so it's just, but I just think that with a lot of these like different people that be impersonating others, because it's like, yeah, you'll see like the Elvis impersonators, you see the Michael Jackson impersonators, you see the Tupac impersonators. I'm trying to think of some other people. Yeah, like, yeah, you see a lot of different people that be impersonating others and stuff, and I'm like, it gets to a point where you gotta let that stuff go, and you gotta start focusing on yourself. But if you feel that your life ain't all that interesting and things, I'm like, okay, what can you do to, I guess, to improve the interest level in your life? Because you can't go your whole life pretending to be Michael Jackson. Eventually it's going, yeah, everybody now they're seeing it where it's all like, oh my god, it's, you know, it's this Michael Jackson impersonator and all this other stuff and things. Eventually it's going to get to the point where it's like, okay, bruh, like you gotta do something else. But it's like this whole like Michael Jackson impersonating stuff, like it's old, bro. Like you gotta do something. You gotta do something different, you know. So yeah, but I just think that if this guy, I guess, is like jealous or upset that that his nephew is playing a better Michael Jackson than he is, I'm like, yeah, because he actually grew up around this man. There's people that he can contact, there's resources that he could go to, but overall though, it's like the main thing, he grew up around Michael Jackson. So if there's anybody that is going to impersonate Michael Jackson and do good at it, it's going to be his family. All right. So I'm like, fam, I would have rather have seen, if it came down between who should play as Michael Jackson, like let's say if the nephew didn't want to do the movie, then who should be left up to? It ain't going to be you, bruh. It will be, they will contact a family friend to play as Michael Jackson before they contact you. And I don't mean now no disrespectful stuff, but at the same time, it's like, you have to understand, you are not Michael. You never will be. So that's why I'm like, that whole like upset and being frustrated and all this other stuff. I'm like, fam, no, it's like, it's not, it ain't gonna work out, you know. And the funny thing is I don't know how old this impersonator is. Like, I don't know if he's older than me, or if he's younger than me, then I'm like, fam, even more so of a reason why you ain't no, like, because I don't know, like, he could be in his 30s and things. Like, I wonder if he's like on social media and stuff. Let's see, Michael Jackson impersonator. Dang, there's quite a few Michael Jackson impersonators. Who's this? Is this the guy? I don't think this is the guy. Who is this guy?
Okay, only 10 more presents to wrap. You're almost at the finish line. But first... there, the last one. Enjoy a Coca-Cola for a pause that refreshes.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. New players, new games, new rules. Squid Game, The Challenge returns for a gripping second season. 456 contestants from all walks of life, competing in the ultimate test of strategy, alliances, and endurance. For a life-changing prize of $4.56 million. With stakes this high, why make friends when you can make millions? Catch up on the latest episodes, now playing only on Netflix.
I don't know if this is him or not. I wonder if I could go to, maybe I'm going to go on Twitter and then see if I can find that video. Because if I can find that video, then somebody might have it in the description. But okay, so yeah, I was like, hold on for a second. So he was on TikTok and things. All right, cool. I'm like, okay, well, I wonder if I can search, because somebody had posted that image of where he was watching that guy on dang, it's like, how does Google, I hate when Google does that. You be trying to search up something and it's like they don't be finding any things. But dang, man, I can't find that guy, his like socials and stuff. Like, he probably don't want nobody to know of his social. That man just be anonymously popping out of places and things. But anyways, dang, I can't find it. But overall though, if this guy, nah, that ain't it. But anyways, if this guy is, if he's younger, then it's like, but the thing is this though. I feel like that, because I feel like that back then, it wasn't when Michael Jackson was alive, like, you didn't really see a whole lot of Michael Jackson impersonators and stuff. I feel like that type of stuff don't be happening until after the person passed, because I feel like, yeah, Elvis, when he was alive, you didn't hear about nobody impersonating Elvis and things. But I think it's like, it's rare occasions where you see, but I think it's more so the character that they played, not so much as themselves. But no, yeah, because I guess like somebody, for an example, that's still alive and he got some impersonators out there, is Arnold Schwarzenegger, but he's a distinctive, like, he got like a distinctive mannerism about himself, to where it's like, yeah, people I guess would be doing it for like comedy, but I guess like, as far as like actually pretending to be him and stuff, yeah, no, you don't really see that. I think there was because he actually did come across somebody that was impersonating him, and it was funny because you could tell the difference. Like, you could tell like you're impersonating the whole like Terminator persona is. So no, it was funny because like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he goes up to the guy, he's standing side by side with him, and I think he asked like, who are you or something, and he was all like, and all the guy could say is that I'm the Terminator, but he said it in an Arnold Schwarzenegger voice. And I think he asked Arnold Schwarzenegger, who are you? And then Arnold Schwarzenegger, he actually had the line like memorized, like of the whole like, oh, I'm the T-1000, like, I don't remember it by heart and stuff what he said, but he had the line down on what he said in the Terminator movies. So that's why I'm like, yeah, that's how you could tell the difference between somebody that knows and somebody that don't know, and that's why I'm like, with this guy, I'm like, you're going based off of videos, and maybe some movies and documentaries and stuff, but I'm like, you didn't grow up with Michael Jackson, so you might grew up listening to his music, that's about it. But I'm like, my thing is this, can you sing like Michael? Can you dance like Michael? You try to act like him, but I'm like, that ain't doing a whole lot. But I'm like, yeah, bro, it's like, but somebody that can like, when you hear Jafar Jackson sing, bro, I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, man, it's unfortunate that Michael Jackson passed, because I feel like that they definitely they would have probably put out some music together. I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like, I would have, but I'm curious about his just his side of music and things, because I feel like that this definitely be one of those things where it like kickstarts his career, and people are like, like, okay, like, we see your performance as as Michael, your uncle and stuff. I'm like, now we gotta see Jafar Jackson, what you all about and things. So yeah, I'm curious to see where this overall lands his career and things. But yeah, as far as the Michael Jackson impersonator, I'm like, yeah, bro, eventually it's gonna get to a point, well, and yeah, that's what Jafar Jackson, I'm like, eventually it's gonna get to a point, because he's like, he's like, look, I'm gonna be doing it for over 2.5 hours, and then after that, like, the credits is gonna roll, and then I can, and that's when everybody's gonna be like, okay, like, now we gotta see what Jafar Jackson is all about. You, on the other hand, you're trying to spend 24 hours, 7 days a week, pretend to be Michael, and it's like, okay, bro, it's gonna get to a point where it's like, all right, enough is enough. What can you do as an individual outside of this Michael Jackson persona? So, But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.